in that best of 3 showdown in the lower bracket. Let's see if they'll have better answers this time.
They'll have Black on the Shadow Fin on the safe lane. It seems that Ember better matchup against the TA since you can break the reflection. Your supports are going to roam around, and Ember has to set up with the Searing Chain, so gives the supports easier time for the gank.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see how people will move. The good thing about PPD, the best of Turn Protector spell, Living Armor, you don't have to be around. So PPD can be literally anywhere. He can be maybe...
He's going to be the real Sherlock Holmes detective, looking at where everyone else is.
Yes, he has to be. And the thing is, with the Enigma, farming the jungle, he might not be able to just abuse the fact that he can pull that much. But I'm sure he will find the levels. And once he gets level 6, this EG lineup can prove really scary.
Team fight. This is one of the few games where I saw EG actually pick a very team fight orientated draft. So they're definitely switching things up, and everyone was asking if EG will bring something surprising today. And this draft alone, all the heroes are not surprising, but the combination and playstyle that EG chose to go with the team fight combination is the big surprise here.
Absolutely. And now we're going to go to the casters. This game 1 of the finals is going to be casted by our Dota Cinema dynamic duo. It's Sunsfun and Synderen. Guys, good luck. Take it away.
Thank you, Bruno. Welcome everybody to the grand finals of the Dota 2 Asia Championships between EG and Vici Gaming. Like Bruno just said, we'll be casting game 1, Synderen, and the thing I like about this is there's going to be a lot of mix of casters during this grand final, so that should be pretty cool and unique as opposed to other tournaments. So let's go over the lineups before we get any further. I'll start with EG, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Weapus on the camera. But by that I mean evil geniuses, just so you don't get confused, because they do sound very similar.
Wepus doesn't care about
Okay, you take Vici then.
Okay. So for Vici Gaming, looks like Wepus just wants to troll you a little bit. We've got FY onto his Rubik, Super on the Ember Spirit, Fenrir following through on the Leshrac, Black on the Shadow Fiend, and then finally Ice 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 on the Tidehunter. I think this is the first Leshrac pick of the tournament, right? Did they mention that?
They did not.
I think he was
in
in the
he
unpicked pool.
At least once.
Right?
He's not a common pick, though. I don't know
I
for
seem
sure.
to remember he was in the unpicked pool. He might have been picked, but then it's literally once before this.
Right.
So
very uncommon hero, and it's going to be fun to see. All right, let's go for EG. So Sumail, the 15-year-old wonder, is going to be playing the TA PPD on his Treant Protector. Phoenix is going to be played by Universe. He is super happy about that. Fear on Troll Warlord, and last but not least, AUI 2000 on Enigma. So, this bottom rune, are we going to have a rune battle?
looks like
for
it's a
the ages?
possibility. I don't think Universe really wants to try this. So Telekinesis is one of the really good tools against Phoenix. Sometimes it's difficult to land because the movement of the Icarus dive is very fast, but if you precast it, it will stop Phoenix in the dive, and you not only stop him, but you can of course get the toss-back effect afterwards. And well, judging from how FI has been playing this tournament, he will probably also be able to catch him mid-curve.
Yeah, Ice in the bottom line has 12 tangos, expecting to take a lot of pressure, but right now he's going to be going against the Phoenix. What do you think about the matchup there, Tide versus Phoenix? Of course, Phoenix isn't a hero we've seen that often. I think it's been picked, I've seen like 4 or 5 games at least, a lot of them from Ice, but Universe, this is maybe his second game on Phoenix, I want to say.
Yeah, I think
maybe
so.
Maybe one more.
They've picked it only once before, I think, together with the Treant as well.
Yeah,
they had a tinker that game. As for this matchup, I want to say it's pretty even in the first 2 to 3 levels at least. After that, Phoenix will usually be able to take over because of the constant harassment from Fire Spirits, but Ice, like you said, doing his classic 12 tango 1 salve build.
Is that a classic thing?
He's done that in multiple games, and he's the only one who does it, I think. But the really powerful thing about it is Universe needs to invest mana into harassing. And that means he can't keep doing it unless if he gets a stick against Ice with the Anchor Smash. And even then, Ice can choose not to use Anchor Smash too much and just prevent Universe from keeping the harassment up.
That's the thing I love about Ice. He does not stick to normal convention. He goes for 12 tangos, he gets a terrible hairdo. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Dota or real life. He goes with whatever the hell he wants. Top lane right now is the Troll Warlord, along with the Treant Protector, against this tri-lane. So it's going to be the Ember, Rubik, Lesh tri-lane. And let's talk about Lesh for a bit. A hero that's dropped off quite a bit. A lot of changes have been made semi-recently to the hero. Lightning Storm does a slow of, I think it's now 0.5 seconds if I'm not mistaken.
It's 0.75, right. It was buffed, right?
Yeah,
it used to be 0.5 when it was first introduced. Yep.
Split Earth is super difficult to get off
Radiant's middle tower is taking
overall.
damage.
What do you think about this here?
Fine. Leave. See if I care.
Moldova or sometimes you actually do a hybrid build where you also get Diabolic Edict as Fear. Is going to harass a little bit onto Fenrir. Gets the slow off as well. Gets him to half here.
I mean, that's one of the issues with Lesh is he is super squishy.
But the Split Earth Edict build of old is almost never used anymore, where you don't get Lightning Storm early. Now, I think in this game, Fenrir will absolutely get at least 1 point in Edict because the main reason Vici Gaming picked this is that they needed a solution for Fraction Living Armor, and he counters both of them at once with Edict, which is very powerful.
He goes however, right away, actually.
Yeah, he needs it now, because they're aiming to gank mid sometime soon. They have the smoke ready. Unfortunately for them, the timing isn't just right, as Black is currently pushing out the lane, and they don't...
There's the miscommunication, doesn't know Chinese, I mean...
I'm surprised they didn't block the lane mid. I think they could have actually made the waves clash on Black's cliff. Instead, they're gonna meet in the river, and they're gonna smoke top instead. Maybe it's just a fake play where evil geniuses will now think they're trying mid. Look at Sumail's positioning really far back.
Yeah.
Whereas Fear, he is totally not ready for this one.
So are they expecting him to go Diabolic Edict just because of the refractions? We're gonna have
he got him!
Telekinesis onto Fear. They don't bring him back though. Super taking some damage, but Fear's in the middle of a lot of damage. Searing Chains does connect. He's at half HP. He's gonna continue to aggress. They might go for this first blood. Super very low. Obviously doesn't have level 6, so he can't get out of these trees. And this might be first blood for EG. Super, he eats his way out of the trees with the tangos, but it's not going to matter because AUI is there with the last right click. That was really close.
And this is one of the weaknesses of Vici Gaming's lane. When they initiate onto Fear in the middle of a creep wave, Edict is terrible. It's very difficult to land good Searing Chains. And I think the Whirling Axes, I think they removed Flame Guard together with Leech Seed as well. And that's just so much of their damage out the window. They need Super to reach level 5 or level 7 before this play becomes reliable. And losing that first blood to, who did claim it? It was Aoi.
Yeah.
So he's almost level 5 on the Enigma with a good gold boost. Things are looking very good for EG in this early game.
What do you think about their lineup in general? So EG goes for a Wombo combo setup. We've seen the Phoenix and the Treant work wonders, but they're adding an Enigma on top of it now. Technically speaking, if they get all three, that's pretty much a one-team fight. But you don't necessarily need all three. I think that's the important thing to keep note. I mean, who do they have instead of Enigma? Do you remember in that lineup? Going to the memory banks here?
I can't remember what Aoi played that game.
It might have been like a Chen even. I mean, like almost no team fight.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was a Chen in that game. Pretty sure.
So yeah, what do you think about the Wombo combo?
Well, it's good if you can land it, right, as usual. I think in this particular game, landing the black hole is going to be difficult, but for EG's lineup, it's not so much about landing the black hole as just Aoi getting in position to set up the fight for them. Because the moment he moves in, they'll need to respect the threat of the black hole and get into a weird position, and then suddenly if PPD is there from Invis and gets an overgrowth off, the entire combo can be pulled off, even without using black hole. But it's still indirectly part of the combo without casting it, if you know what I mean. And then if he can get it off, it's great, but I think in some cases it's actually going to be more risky to cast it than not, because he's playing against a Rubik. So that Rubik needs to be caught in the black hole or in a bad position, since they don't have any lockdowns for Rubik, right? The only lockdown they have is, as a matter of fact, Black Hole, and Malefice, if you will. Or Lucky Bash from Troll, does that even count?
Kind of.
So, FY, I'm expecting him to steal the black hole this game at least once if he gets in position for it, and that could be scary. Oh, Sumail finds Ice on the rune battle. Needs a couple more attacks and we'll let him go.
With the supports missing off the map, don't think he wanted to get too aggressive. But speaking of the supports, FY and Lesh, they haven't really found anything with that combo yet. His top lane now, Super's the one in trouble. Takes a Leech Seed, takes a slow from Whirling Axes. This is going to be enough to get the kill. This might be the second death for Super as PPD with a huge right clicks of that Treant Protector bring him down. And that forces a TP from Ice.
And he was actually
not even helping.
He was on the way back to base. He ported in to try and help with the Ravage, but now he needs to walk all the way to base and walk all the way to lane. This is a very big loss for Vici Gaming. Effectively delaying their Blink Dagger, I would say, by at least a minute, because he has to do all this walking instead of just farming a bit more. He's going to buy a smoke, though, maybe just to...
Wow. AUI. Oh, he gets spotted, though. He has the black hole available, but doesn't look like a gank will be successful in this mid lane. Sumail at the current moment of time, as if you could move your thing, Cinderin, thank you. 41 and 12 CS in the mid lane versus Actually, where is he? Where's the Shadow Thief? Is he in the jungle right now?
He's in his base. He walked back to regen and will
And
be
everybody
porting out to
walking
lane.
back for Vici.
And I want to point out how big EG's lead is already, because this early game is not working out for Vici. The Lesh-Rubik combination is kind of... it's a hit or miss combination. Either you get some good ganks off early on, or you have two heroes that are on the recovery and are both very level dependent. So Vici Gaming on the back foot, they're behind by more than 3,000 gold at minute 7, and the same on the XP. Of course, that can be largely attributed to Enigma's almost level 7. And Universe ultimately tied with the Tide in the bottom lane. He's level 7 as well, has a TP scroll available. I think
It's about
Vici
to turn
Gaming are going to
daytime.
be desperate at trying Sumail.
Telekinesis mid lane gets dropped down into a split earth into Diabolic Edict. Even a Requiem of Souls, a really early one, comes into effect. Sumail looks like he's going to live to see another day in Universe. Forces everybody back. That was like a last resort gank during the nighttime. Now that it's day, they have to have a smoke. But still not successful for Vici Gaming.
Man, living armor and level 4 refraction together are so extremely difficult to cut through. Even the Requiem, I think, he hit it pretty much perfectly. Should have taken off the full refraction, which it did, but the damage afterwards wasn't enough with the living armor. And another failed gank for Vici. They just can't find the openings. And
So
the
just to
supports are level
verify, the way
4.
Requiem of Souls works, each soul counts as a separate instance of damage, right? So it takes off refraction pretty early. Do you know if that works that way?
You get 1 line per 2 souls, right? So Black had
Yes.
level 3 Necromastery, so he has 29 souls, so I'm guessing he gets 14 lines with this. Not 15. I think you need to have 2 full souls. So if they all hit, he can take off refraction and living armor at once, I think. But there's still a big part of the damage that gets negated. When you're used to see these extreme blow-up combos, he will only take about half of that.
Yep, Universe getting really aggressive, but Super gonna get out with those Fire Remnants. And speaking of the bottom lane, 2,400 net worth for Universe versus the Ember Spirit. They're pretty much even overall as far as net worth is concerned. So are you a little bit surprised by that? I mean, obviously the rotations from top to bottom, and now that Ice 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 is top, things have switched up a bit.
No, not really. This is kind of
Like,
what was
is
to expect.
there any kill potential onto Super? I mean, the Fire Remnants, easy getaway for him. Universe would need at least a +1.
They can't kill him without the Enigma, I think. It's pretty much impossible. That's why the Ember Spirit pick was very powerful this game, because if he gets farm, he can get really scary this game, and also innately a decent hero against TA because of the Flame Guard, but he's not getting there yet. Ember is not good at playing from behind. So they still need to find some sort of opening. Vici Gaming are just not finding anything, and EG getting good farm. Of course, Black, haven't talked too much about him. He's sitting on 80 CS minute 10, so that's about as good as it gets in the mid lane. He will have a mech within the next, let's see, what's that going to be? Probably within the next minute, I would guess, or minute and a half.
So the mech is going to come online first for EG onto AUI, as Ice 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 is taking out a triple stack, it looks like in the Ancients here. Is this a blink game for Enigma?
No. It's a BKB game, I think.
Is being attacked.
So
He
mech
can
into
still-
BKB?
Yeah, it can still get stolen with Spell Steal, but that's the only counter. So he knows if he gets a Black Hole off, he gets it off. Then the question is if the counterplay is there for Vici, but they can't stop his Black Hole with anything else than another Black Hole. That's not reliable.
How dependent do you think Vici Gaming is on ganks in this early game? Because they haven't found anything. Is that something to really worry them, or do they feel comfortable going to the mid game? The way
I
this is
think
going?
they should be really worried with how low level their supports are. I think they're addressing the situation the right way though, by giving FY some alone time in the bottom lane to maybe get a... I knew you were gonna laugh at that. To maybe get level 6 within a reasonable time frame, and Fenrir is trying to move a bit around and scavenge whatever he can in around the top lane.
Ice 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 gets slowed by the trap.
The counterplay
Here,
though...
he's gonna get ganked by 2 others. Super and Fenrir are here. Split Earth is gonna connect, and down goes Owie. That's the first death coming away. EG's Fear on the run. Searing Chains is gonna connect. No, actually that was a lightning storm. Look at that slow. It's so ridiculous. Fear's gonna go to the right clicks along with the Flame Guard. Here's the combination we're talking about. Overgrowth into Supernova. Fenrir is getting exploded. Finally the stun comes out for Universe, and down Fenrir goes. That is 3 dead for Vici Gaming in such a short amount of time. Universe to continue the pressure. FY takes the negative urn charge. Can they catch up as Icarus dive up? Doesn't look to be, as the Fire Spirits might be enough. In fact, it was the urn. And Black, mid lane.
Yeah. Well, he did the right thing, to be honest. He couldn't have contributed enough in that fight, and instead he takes the tier 1 tower mid and gets some good farm. Overall, that was not too bad for Vici Gaming, and I'm saying that when they lost the fight 2-4, but they need to get something done here. And trading towers in the meantime with how this game is going, I think...
They're going to lose big stack.
Yeah, that's... Okay, then it's not really that much worth it anymore, but until that point, that was pretty okay. And they got some levels on this, of course. Rubik's level almost 6, and so is Lesh. That's going to change quite a bit, especially on the Rubik, of course.
Sumail getting really greedy with these Ancients. Of course, Black Hole is still online for AUI, so Vici also needs to be quite careful. They get pretty much the entire stack. In mid lane, we're going to have a stalemate of sorts at the current moment of time, as it's 4K gold and experience lead pretty much for EG at the current moment in time. Fear, just going to push bottom lane all by his lonesome. Of course, Fervor does work on towers. That's what makes him pretty much one of the best pushers in the game. I would still call him an underrated pusher, actually. But maybe not underrated in this tournament anymore, as he's been picked very often.
He's kind of made a breakthrough in the recent version. And of course it's a combination of Fervor and Battle Trance, but the Fervor is generally overlooked how important it is. People are always talking about the Battle Trance as a pushing tool, and of course it is the bigger one. It is the ultimate after all and affects the entire team, but if Troll gets to attack the tower on his own for a while, then that Fervor definitely does play a big role. They're gonna get Roche for EG. No contesting for Vici Gaming, as Super's trying to go on to Owie. He might get Black Hole though. He will jump out and reset.
And Fear is going to be the one to pick up the Aegis of the Immortal. And actually, what do you think about him picking that up as opposed to TA? I mean, I think it's fine either way, personally.
I think TA just doesn't die yet, so it's kind of a wasted Aegis. They want Fear to go in and soak up damage, as he's doing right now.
In a lot of trouble. He's going to get bashed. PPD with the Leech Seed. Nobody's coming to help. Actually, there is the Rubik. Overgrowth is going to ensure the kill. And down goes Black. I believe that's his first death of the game. FY, not going to be there in time.
They rotated up 4 heroes for this. They do get the kill and they do get the tier 1 bottom. So another really good move for Evil Geniuses, as Vici Gaming will be getting a Blink Dagger now on the Tide. They are ready to fight, but the openings just seem very difficult to find.
We've seen Midas on... I think it was Ice 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 that picked up the Midas on the Phoenix.
Universe did in his last...
Oh, he did as well? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's just going to increase his farm exponentially. For a hero that isn't really item dependent, I would say, like super item dependent, the fact that you can get luxury items like that is huge. I would love to see an Aghanim Scepter, but it's probably not going to happen.
I think the biggest part of the Midas is getting level 16. It really changes a lot for the Phoenix in terms of, like, the Supernova scaling is really, really good. Level 1 is pretty weak, and after that it starts getting really
like
scary.
5, 7, 10?
It's 5, 8, and 11.
5, 8,
I think
11.
it got buffed at one point. It used to be 5, 7, 10. That's why you remember that. But it's been improved, and of course the luxury items do play a role. But one of the crazy things about Phoenix as a hero is, as we mentioned, very item independent. So even if you don't manage to get this Midas, it's definitely not the end of the world compared to a lot of other heroes.
But it feels like he has such a huge impact on the game if he does get a lot of these tankability items. And he can get pretty much decently consistent aggression. Oh, actually, we have a... I think that was a smoke by Vici from the start, wasn't it?
I think so too. They didn't really find anything.
I think that's the second or third smoke they've used to no avail. Universe going to be cleaning up this mid lane creeps. He might be the one that gets ganked. Here comes the Ravish by Ice Ice Ice. He's showing off the Blink Dagger. Remember, Universe does have his ultimate. He's not going to get it off in time. He's going to be the first to die in this engagement. FY and company taking a lot of damage from Fear. First to die for Vici Gaming is the Leshrac. There's the Overgrowth. And into a Black Hole. That's a double Black Hole. Black and Ice 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 taking a ton of damage as they attempt to run away. Searing Chains holding PPD in place. Looks like the Aegis of the Immortal will bring back Fear, which means Vici Gaming should probably run, although never mind. Black just deals a lot of damage himself, as 4 survive on pretty low HP for Vici. Sumail on the run, Malphus comes out, and actually it was stolen by FY. Looks like Sumail and AUI will live to see another day, and Black getting more damage out from Sumail. We have a buyback from Phoenix. That's a really late buyback. In fact, here he comes. Looks like the TA did die. Supernova in place. Super I don't know if he can get out of this. He does have Flame Guard Pop. He's going to get stunned. And down he goes. I don't even know what the trade was. That was a really extended fight. That was... I want to know what time Universe bought back, how much time was left on his death.
Yeah, that was really, really late. I'm pretty surprised that he didn't buy back earlier in that fight. When they got the Black Hole off, that's when the buyback from Phoenix can really make a big difference. They were lacking on damage. Vici Gaming get the opener, they find Phoenix before the fight breaks out, and even though they use Ravage for it, he is probably the most impactful hero for EG right now, with him out of the picture, and with FY stealing the Fire Spirits at the same time to slow down the Troll and TA's attack speed in that fight. Vici managed to pull off an incredible team fight there. Huge win for them.
Dire's top tower is being
How much was
attacked.
the... We didn't get to see the fight recap,
I think it was about 2,500,
Okay.
all in all.
Not too shabby then. Can't find a mid lane. I don't pay attention to what you do, Epis. I'm sorry. I love you though. But that's a really early Blink Dagger for FY. That is huge. I mean, that's going to be... As long as he's not in a black hole, that's almost a guaranteed black hole pretty much every time. And that's what AUI has to be super careful about in this game.
It's also another initiation tool for them. They have... Last time they Blink Ravaged, maybe this time they can just Blink Lift, save the Ravage, and get more than one hero in it, as the build-up for Refresher now begins for Ice with the Ring of Health.
Oh, PPD
quite
gets
far.
caught under
Oh, wow.
Sentry War, Telekinesis, Split Earth, Diabolic Edict, pretty much everything. He gets a Leech Seed off and then just drops dead.
And Super does get in on that assist. He's had a really hard game on his Ember Spirit so far, but is making progress. Sitting with a drum and 700 gold. I wonder what he goes for, if he still thinks Battle Fury is the build, or if he wants to go for something that gives a little more defensive capability. I'm thinking something like... Well, if he gets a Linken's, what can he block with that? He can block Leech Seed or he can block Malefice, and that's it. So, reliable counter to Malefice, which is nice, but I don't know if he considers that worth it. I believe they are pretty much targeting him with the Malefice, though, when they can.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, it's 7 to 10 right now. Getting close to the 20-minute mark. And how many towers are down? There's only a tier 1 mid down for EG and a tier 1 bot for Vici. What level is Leshrak's Diabolic Edict? I mean, do they have any opportunities to actually push with this?
Level
So he
2.
went for a 4-2-2 build.
Yep.
And I'm guessing the ultimate will be picked up at 10-11. Question is, does he go for Lightning Storm 3 the next level?
I think so. The 2 points in Edict should be enough to burn through the TA and the living armor. As the only thing that scales is the damage. It doesn't scale in terms of duration or the speed of the explosions. So, if you're using it as a removal tool anyway, you might as well keep it on level 2.
It's a good way to force out the fortification as well. That's something of old. As we haven't really mentioned that too much. Is they're going to continue to push this. Fire Spirit's coming out. Black with that haste rune. Should be good to go. Has the regen bottle as well. Of course, we talked about his mech. Looks like he's going for a Scotty, unless that's going to be a Manta, which typically you would not see the ultimate orb first, so I highly doubt that. Ice. The slow progression towards... I say slow, actually it's not that slow. Towards a Refresher orb. This could be scary for EG.
This fight is
Depending on this
super
fight goes.
important. EG needs to get the right opener. They have to get their combo off. And they need to make space for Sumail to start fighting. It's still a difficult team for him to fight into. Even with the BKB, they're just
Look at
kiting
how
him really well.
aggressive Super is being. My goodness, he takes a Leech Seed. Universe is there with the Fire Spirit. It's not going to connect Sumail. Takes a Split Earth. And doesn't look like Vici wants to fight, at least not yet.
Might wait for the next Flame Guard, as that will go on cooldown now.
Oh, slide
Voice out! Oh, very close.
Initiation onto Sumail, takes the Ravage as well. He's going to be the first to drop. It's a 5v4 just like that. Does EG want to defend now? They might just give this up. Probably the wise move. 50 seconds on the deck for Sumail.
This is where EG can pull a fake. They make Vici think Sumail doesn't have buyback since they give the tier 1 for free, and then they can make the play on the tier 2 with a buyback, but Sumail has cooldown on Town Portal, so they actually can't even make that play.
Yeah.
They might lose 2 towers as a result. I think Vici Gaming just gonna continue here mid. Meanwhile, or bottom lane, sorry, as mid lane, FY and Ice will catch up.
Chains. Even the lift is used. Fear at half HP. AUI is here. Has the black hole available. He's going to use it, but Fear can't really do a whole lot. He turns into range 1 and Super taking a beating. He might get the kill on Fear. Nope. Not going to happen. Fear barely gets out with his life, and the initiation continues. Universe jumps in. Not going to find anybody at this point. So it ends up being overall a 1-for-1 with a tier 1 killed at bottom.
And FY is going to blink to the high ground.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Sunray finds him. Universe is like, hello. How are you doing? He's going to steal it! He's going to attempt to run away, but FY. Style points, but dies in the end.
Oh, it looks so good when Rubik uses Sunray. He's like surfing. So good. But yeah, that's a 2-for-1.
How does that interact with Rubik? I know that Rubik has a lot, like the cast points are pretty much non-existent, but for that, your movement is limited, right? And that stays the same with Rubik.
Yeah, whenever you enter Sunray, you get a change in how you can turn and how you can move your hero, and the same is the case for Rubik. You saw it there.
Yeah. He
started moving forward, but he loses move speed, and well, regardless was not going to get out of that. Still looked funny. Well, EG get a 2-for-1 in that, lose their tier 1 as you mentioned. And Super was really close to getting the kill on the Enigma, but ultimately, or on the Troll rather, ultimately gets Black Hold. That, of course, means Black Hole's on cooldown for another 2 minutes, which Vici Gaming could take advantage of, as Roshan is spawning in 1.
Yeah. Who has the better Roche lineup for holding it?
Vici Gaming when Black Hole's on cooldown.
Sunray. Don't forget about Sunray.
Sunray is good.
So good.
If you stand in the oven, you're going to get burnt.
Good one.
But you can choose not to.
Okay. We'll just go along with that. As the tier 1 tower is going to be defended here by Sumail, who's been playing, I feel like, a lot more cautious this game. Is that more to do with the supports being off the map constantly, or maybe some jitters from the grand final? I mean, again, this will be his...
I feel like he has already proven that he seems to have no jitters at all.
You were very impressed with his interview.
Yeah, I liked his interview a lot. And we also, I mean, his play speaks for itself. He doesn't really need to say anything.
Yeah.
He has done more than enough. Even if his grand final performance isn't up to par with how he's played in all the other games, they've still been so good that... I mean, you wouldn't really call it forgivable if he plays a bad grand finals as such, but he has played so exceptionally well that if he still plays really solid, he's had an amazing tournament.
Agreed.
No matter what.
Ice. I cannot believe how much farm this guy's getting. So BKB now in AUI, but Ice. All he needs is a recipe for that refresher orb. He's going to have it at like 28 minutes, I want to say. Maybe 29. As there is a smoke for EG. They're going to go straight to the Roche pit. Universe showing himself mid to perhaps give Vici a little peace of mind.
Oh my god, this Roche is dead.
Yep.
Sumail gets the Aegis this time.
Alright.
So I think EG's reason for giving it to him this time is that, as we talked about for previous fights, he's not going to die, which he did twice. But so that was a good prediction. But I think the point was Sumail doesn't feel like he can commit enough into the fight without Aegis. And now that Troll has BKB as well, they might just try to take a different approach to the fight, where Fear stands back a little bit more, gets off a good battle trance timing, and then they let Sumail lead the charge, because he's the harder one to initiate on when he has Refraction up.
Yeah.
And they can snowball off of that.
Well, in that one fight where Fear had the Aegis, he came back, and I thought he was going to turn it around, but then we looked at his inventory. He had a Mithril Hammer and an Ogre Club, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was like very underwhelming as far as damage is concerned. So that's going to be a little bit changed now that he has a little bit more farm. But for Sumail himself, looks like he's going for a Desolator as well. And that is going to deal a ton of damage. They can
Super
take
has a Spirit down. He's going to need to jump.
Super takes the Black Hole. It's a solo one. Do they have enough damage to take him out easily?
Man, that's confidence from Aoi going for that Black Hole there. If Super's really quick mid-cast animation, he can jump out. But sometimes those plays just work. They're the ones where when you're on the receiving end, you're like, why would you even try that? That's so extremely risky, and it's almost like you believe I'm a worse player than you. And that's the mentality you need to play with, right?
Is it going to put him on
just
tilt?
outskills him there. Goes for the big play and gets away with it.
Would you go on tilt if something like that happened to you, Sidney?
I'm on permanent tilt, dude.
I actually can't picture you being on tilt, to be perfectly honest. Fear and Universe going to find Fenrir. He gets a nice splitter off on Fear himself. Universe taking a ton of damage. He's going to get blown up. He gets a Supernova off, but they might kill him anyways. The Ravage is going to ensure that. In fact, it hits 4 heroes. BKB's popped galore, but remember, AUI already uses Black Hole. Ice on the run. Looks like he's going to be the next tonight. So 1-for-1 at the current point. There's a nice overgrowth. It was stolen by Rubik. Can they have it? Do they have any damage to follow this up with Black? Dealing some right clicks to Sumail, who's trying to finish off Fenrir. It's not going to be enough. PPD with the invis just pops him in the face. Super Black versus Sumail. Who's going to come out on top here? Okay, actually Sumail is literally surrounded. Gets the Aegis is used. AUI trying to hang around, but remember, again, no black hole. Midnight Pulse might be online though. Malefice, Sumail gets some living armor, trying to get a consolation kill. Pops his refraction at the last second, attempting to run away with the Searing Chains ensures his death.
Vici
AUI will
are
TP
playing
out.
this fight so insanely well. If you take that, just look at how much work FY is getting done during that fight with the Rubik, zoning out heroes, putting pressure. The 4-man Ravage from the Fog by Ice 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 to secure the kill on the Supernova. And just the kiting overall from Vici Gaming. They're making Sumail's life extremely hard by just having these mobile heroes in the Ghost Scepter and the Leshrac. And he never really seems to get onto a target. They needed the black hole there, and Vici Gaming take full advantage of it being out of EG's arsenal for that fight.
I like that Ghost Scepter pickup. I guess the only, other than magical, like Side Blades will go through it, right? But that's pure damage, so it doesn't get amplified by the Ghost Scepter itself. As Troll Warlord now has a Chrysalis into a Daedalus soon enough. Black, haven't talked about his item progression in a while. He has 5,300 gold on top of his Manta style.
I like
Which it was a Mantis, I wasn't a Scotty.
Yeah, he did choose to go back for the Manta, or maybe that was the plan all along. I think it's really good when you're playing against Overgrowth. It's kind of the one thing he really wants to break out of, so he doesn't get, first of all, he doesn't really get tempted to break anything else, and it's just a very obvious item counter that benefits him well with his stats. And he's not getting BKB, because then he would have bought it by now. And I like that choice a lot as well, as Ice Ice, he is in this. They have Nature's Guise on FY. Refresher is up on Ice Ice Ice. Oh boy, he blinks mid-leech seed animation from PPD. PPD with a gem. Thought he had the opener there. Looked like EG were faking, that they couldn't see him.
Did he pick up the refresher on his hero? So they saw it then, I'm guessing.
They might have seen that. I'm not sure.
A close call. So perhaps no surprise factor for Ice Ice Ice, but either way, just having that is enormous.
This is really big. And Black is going to get a full butterfly. If he wants to buy it now, he could do it. Currently 2 components on the courier. And he is saving for buyback.
Now that Black Hole is online, all their ultimates are online.
Never mind, he bought it. A little bit of miscommunication sending out the courier without the components. He's going to have to wait his turn.
He's going to walk. There's been a lot of walking
swagger back to base.
Yeah,
well, maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe. Okay, he's not really making up his mind.
The smoke. I think it's still up. No, actually, they completely wasted smoke in the end. It looks like Super's one that
30-minute Battle Fury. He has really had a hard game, but he's on the comeback trail.
Well, he is a comeback hero of sorts. Pretty decent turtler once he gets some DPS.
Yes. So Ember is a little bit special when it comes to that, because he's bad at playing from behind, but if you get one good fight, he's one of the best heroes at recovering. So it's exactly what needs to happen for Super to be a hero in this game is what they just managed to accomplish in the last 10 minutes with their 2 team fights. Looks like EG want to pressure bottom. There's nothing more important in the next team fight than EG popping their BKBs with the right timing. They have 3 of them. 1 on Troll, 1 on Enigma, and 1 on TA. If they mistime them, they're going to get 5-0'd. Like, these double Ravages, they cannot deal with in any possible way if they get off. And I want to say I really like Black's item build in this game. I think it's the ideal build. BKB would have been underwhelming, can only really remove the Malefice here, as well as, well, you could pop it after Overgrowth, but he has Manta for that. Arguably also good against Troll's Blind, but can also Manta dodge that. Maybe if he gets both at once, that would be a really big play for him if he removes them. And then the evasion and the hard hitting, because these fights are extended, and Black gets to attack a hell of a lot during them. So, seems to be the right direction for him this game is going in. And what are we looking at for the supports? FY with 1,000 gold has the blink still as his only real item, but it's been the only thing he's needed, to be honest.
That is all he needs.
What do we have for EG? PPD, really not much progression on him. Arcane Boots and Urn. The TA with the Deso and 3k, so looking at something somewhere down the line there. Maybe a butterfly for her as well.
Top lane Super. Trying to bait this out. Has a couple remnants up. Gonna force EG to play a little footsie, and away he goes.
Yep.
What do you think about FY going for Ags this game? So obviously the 2-second cooldown is the biggest deal of all. It would be hilarious to see him steal Egg, although that's extremely difficult to do. But more importantly, a Black Hole with Midnight Pulse and even Overgrowth with the extra ability. Was it Eyes in the Forest or whatever?
Yeah, does that work? Because there's a couple of axe upgrades that don't work entirely on
That's
Rubik.
actually true. Since it's a separate ability, I guess it wouldn't work.
I'm not sure. I can't remember seeing it, so I would assume it doesn't work.
Yeah,
but it
actually,
could.
now that I think about it, I think you're right. I think you're right.
That would have been really nice, though. Axe Supernova, like you said, is pretty cool. Very situational, though. And, well, I don't know. I think FY, the way he's playing these fights, is actually... It's not about getting the big ults, it's about getting as many spells as possible. So for me, the Axe upgrade, the most important thing for him is not getting the Axe version, but having the 5-second cooldown. Because half the fight
is it 5 seconds?
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Oh, Invokers too, right?
Oh, was it? No, it was reduced to 2. That's right, it was patched.
Okay.
Down to 2-second cooldown with the new spell steal. So FY will be juggling spells in the fights, constantly finding something to steal. He's managed to stay alive very long in all of the previous engagements, so if he can keep doing that, it can have a huge impact. Okay,
Well,
so
Syed has 3,800. He just buys a demon
Yeah.
right now, so going
it's the Daedalus.
finish that Daedalus here. And at what point does EG feel like they can fight? I mean, against double Ravage, Requiem of Souls. I mean, a lot of teamfight potential for Vici Gaming. Of course, Rubik just being really annoying. Essentially, he's the one preventing AUI from getting any kind of good black hole off, as long as he's not inside it. And we're gonna have a smoke now by Vici. So far, their smokes have not worked, but that was when they were kind of behind. Although a lot of it was at the beginning of the game.
Well, to answer your question about the timing for EG, I think it's only going to get harder, actually. Phoenix falls off late game.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
There is the Indida, the Daedalus, and the Troll Warlord. Thank you very much. Asus, TT, Nvidia. Ultra sellout. But the thing is, on paper, having 2 black holes late game is of course extreme, but Vici's lineup just deals with it very well. And I want to say the Ember is going to be a big problem if he gets to keep scaling. And EG already with their draft struggles to catch him off guard, although this smoke gank, if this works, Ice is in such a good position though. And they have the high ground ward.
Vici Gaming
That's
has
the
a
only
gem,
one.
so these Nature's Guises will not really be too effective. PPD's going to be the first one to be spotted. A blink out by FY. He's taking a lot of damage. Ice gets a double Ravage on 3. Can AUI get his ult off? He's popped his BKB. He's trying to go for the black hole. It's only going to be a 1 hero. It's super though. If they can get this to be pretty big. A 3 for 1. Even the Supernova coming to fruition. Super attempting to run away. This might be the 4th kill for EG. There's a buyback. And this might be a dieback, and it is! The last remaining member of Vici Gaming just went down. That was Black. A team wipe for EG. That was actually 6 kills.
That fight went so well for them. I cannot believe they managed to pull that off. So the way the fight begins, FY blinks in aggressively, so he's not a part of the fight. They immediately go to 4 on 5, but they get 2 Ravages consecutively onto 3 heroes, but the follow-up damage isn't there. They also somewhat overlapped the split earth with the 2nd Ravage, so they missed the stun duration, and then the BKBs and the mech are popped, and EG easily turn it around with the Overgrowth Supernova, and when the 2 Ravages don't yield kills, the fight is just lost. Like, that's where, ideally, when the first Ravage hits, Black gets in, either gets to attack heroes or he gets the Requiem off, but he was kept out of the fight there. Never really got to assist his team, and big fight for EG.
And they're about 12k up in, I think that was experience. And can we look at the gold graph again, Lepus? Yeah, okay, about 10k up in gold. And Roche will be the next target for EG.
It's Roshan.
They don't even need to try to kill this guy. Sumail has the MKB now to go right through the butterfly of Black. And even a Shiva's guard on Universe. We're talking about the hero that, if you get luxury items on him, it's pretty disgusting, and we're starting to see it now. He has the Blink Dagger as well, I don't think we mentioned that, along with Fear. So they're just picking up items left and right as they win that fight in spades.
And so the reason Shiva's guard is generally the preferred choice on Phoenix is, there's 2 reasons. The first one, or actually there's kind of only one reason. So when you move with your hero with Shiva's guard in Dota 2, it follows you around. So when you cast it together with Icarus Dive, the area you manage to cover with the ice is extremely big. It also, of course, has armor, which is very nice, the tankability. You see it in use here, the Shivas.
Black and FY in a lot of trouble. He gets the dive off, but he gets Overgrowth somehow. Black's going to be the first to die with barely any souls to speak of. Fenrir on the run. He gets slowed by the trap. EG is going to continue the pressure as Fear just right-clicks to victory. That's 2 dead. FY does live in the end. This push will continue. Shiva's also lowers attack speed. Does that go through the egg?
Yes, I
that's
think
pretty.
so.
That's pretty awesome. That is really good synergy. Syed is trying to get something out of this in the form of a tier 2 tower, but here comes AUI with the Maleficent into the Midnight Pulse. Universe is here as well with the Shiva's Guard. Syed trying to TP out. He is going to get out, actually. No stuns to speak of. Maleficent was already used.
And as a result, EG don't get racks. I think that's actually a mistake that they didn't go for the collateral there, but they might think Black has buyback, so they don't commit. But ultimately, they defended a tier 2 instead of trading it for racks right there. They had battle trance, they were in a good position to siege there, but playing it safe. Now they might be looking for super. Fear comes in. Never mind his FY. Oh my god, almost gets one
Still
shot.
has Icarus dive. And he takes the one shot. Gets away. Syed might go down before the Ravage pops. Doesn't want to waste it. The BKB on Sumail. And EG continuing to snowball. And we're looking at the net worth. Black had a sizable lead. Like, I feel like it was 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And now 2 heroes have overtaken him for EG.
EG are getting really rich on all their heroes, and they probably know that Tidehunter doesn't have buyback. Sitting on a plate mail. I think a Ghost Scepter for Syed would have been a better choice. I understand he wants to build up for the Shivas, but these physical attacks from EG are so extremely hard that even with armor, he's still just going to get burst down. And Sumail, oh my god, Super can't even go in. Black gonna try from a distance. Oh. Pretty good damage, actually.
All right, well,
they get him!
dies in the end, and it's going to force EG back completely.
He didn't use his cheese. Oh, that's a costly mistake. That was ultimately another shot at barracks for EG. And we're saying a costly mistake. They're 20k ahead. Maybe they can manage.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, he had the cheese. He wasn't stun locked. Perhaps just wanted to wait for a better time.
Perhaps he thought he had the Aegis and Fear had the cheese. Maybe he forgot.
Okay.
That's kind of a long shot, though.
Yeah, that's a little bit of
well, he had the Aegis in the last fight. Oh, wait, I don't have Aegis this time.
Well, the problem is he comes up in 56 seconds, which means there'll be 1 minute left on the Aegis, which is a pretty small window to work with. I mean, you don't want to pull an RTZ, right? Where you just die literally a millisecond. Although, oh boy, Fear, or FY.
Oh
well, as long as Fear
can
super
bash!
Wow, look at the burst damage from Fear.
Oh, that
is... The Blink Dagger has been huge for him.
That looks like another possibility here to maybe siege.
3 times the charm. Overgrowth onto Syed is going to have to use his Ravage. Connects on 2 heroes, but AUI is there with the BKB. As the Sunray being used, really to not very much effect. But here comes the Maleficent on Black. Is 36 souls. There's going to take a solo Black Hole, and it looks like another death for Black. Although the nice split Earth from the Leshrac ends up not saving it, but a beautiful Ravage from Syed. Don't think they have enough damage to follow this up with, though. That is the second Ravage, and I don't think they can defend now without that second Ravage. Syed going down to the Sunray. Universe with a double kill, playing an amazing Phoenix game. And Sumail, well, he's back in mid. He has the cheese. He's like, all right, guys, I have the bind. It was in the wrong slot. We're good to go.
Nice work, everybody. I'm here to siege with you. Good 4 and 5. Didn't need me.
This is going to be at least 1 Rax, but
they
without the tide.
Probably end the game here if they feel confident. They could go for the tier 4s.
They could. They're going to get the full Rax mid. They're going towards bot. They're going for Mega Creeps. Fear. Battle Trance just with the ridiculous low cooldown. FY takes the Shiva's Guards, gets a nice telekinesis, but it's not going to matter. Fenrir pops the Ghost Scepter. And Black, unfortunately, just a hero that is not very good after coming back from dead. Only half the souls to speak of. Blink Dagger on Treant now. This is going to be disgusting to watch. Here comes a Supernova. Black taking a lot of damage over time. And the Maleficent into Overgrowth, and the stun will follow. GG's as EG, despite being the underdog in this tournament, in this Grand Finals, take game 1. And I have to say, pretty damn convincingly.
Yeah, that was a really well-executed strategy from them. It looked a little bit shaky when they lost the fight at the bottom tier 1, and Vici Gaming got a really good trade. But all in all, I think the biggest part in this victory is how they managed to force VG toward the later portion of the game to use abilities they didn't want to. They forced out Ravages that